Hi everyone, this is Frank DiMora and today is July the 15th, 2013. Let me go up to the top. You'll see the End Times Research Ministry. I have two sites. If you're at my YouTube channel, my older site was the BibleProphecyMan.com, which I still have up, but most of my postings, all of the information is put at my new site, which is the End Times Research Ministry site. So what I wanted to show you, that either if you go to the Bible Prophecy Man or you go over to End Times Research Ministry, you'll have access to my book. And in my book there's a chapter. Let me scroll down and I'm going to show you this chapter, or at least some of the things that are pertaining to that chapter. And I have there's a section that deals with the animals, birds, and the fish that are dying. Now, here is one of the prophecies, as you can see right here, that shows us that this is going to happen in the last days. The birds, the fish, the animals are going to be dying. Now, in my book, yesterday's book, if you will, if you read my book yesterday, or if you were in this chapter, you would have noticed that I stopped on July the 10th. Of giving information about these things. But since then, just like almost every other day, we're seeing evidence of these things taking place. So I'm going to show you what has happened just since the 10th. I'm not going to talk too much. All I'm going to do is let the headline speak for itself. If you want, while you're on YouTube, you can freeze the frame. I may say one or two things, but it's just a video to show you, take a look, so that you can see the things that the Lord has said are coming to pass. Now keep in mind, this is only a little bit of the prophecies that the Lord told us were going to happen in the last days. But when you take a look at all of the signs, you'll know without a doubt, especially when Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, He showed us that this generation will not pass till all these things take place. That's us. No other generation has been through or seen all of the things that He described that we would see at one single generation. And that's us. So let's take a look at some of the newest information that has arisen concerning the birds, the fish, and the animals dying. Probably have seen quite a bit of news if you've been watching this bird flu and how it's affecting, and so many different animals are having to be killed, or as they call them, culled, because they have gotten this disease. And when you read down in here, they give you some statistics about this, but I just wanted to bring some headlines to you. Let me go on. The CBS News, this was on the 11th. Here's the headline, Baffling the Fish Deaths. Let me play this.
Thank you, Zach. For days, dozens of people wanted to know why their neighborhood smelled so bad. Well, it turns out there were hundreds of fish decaying in Swift Creek.
Today, after CBS 6 started asking why, the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality launched an investigation. Senior reporter Wayne Koval tells us what they're looking for.
It's now been 1 week since large carp started floating to the surface in this section of Swift Creek in Colonial Heights.
At 4.5, the water temperature is 25.94.
The Department of Environmental Quality only found out about the fish kill.
It was a putrid smell.
When CBS 6 aired a story on Thursday.
Problem with this one is that we didn't find out about it until a week later.
Early Friday morning, DEQ began their investigation.
That's one of the most important pollution events that we investigate, our fish kills.
It's a step in the right direction. It's encouraging to see that the government can react this way.
Researchers say since it's been 7 days since the first signs of a fish kill were discovered here in Colonial Heights, that it will be tough to determine exactly what may have caused all the carp to die. People living here along Swift Creek noticed a foul smell last Friday. By Saturday morning, hundreds of dead carp could be seen.
It could be a bacterial or fungal infection that only carp catch.
DEQ took readings.
pH 7.04.
And water samples, which will be tested to try and determine what caused the fish kill. Though they say it's doubtful it's the result of pesticide or fertilizer runoff, which wouldn't be species specific.
He or he and I will be out here.
Those living here just glad to see the problem is being investigated.
Well, at least they're trying to find out what's causing this fish kill.
But many still won't eat what they catch.
This year, no. I'm not. We'll still fish in the creek. We're going to throw back what we catch.
Test results could be back within a month. In Colonial Heights, Wayne Koval, CBS 6 News.
All right, so there you go. And one of the things that I wanted to bring out for you is that the fish kills that we've been noticing, a lot of them have to do with the temperature. Excuse me, let me close this down. A lot of them have to do with the temperatures rising, and it takes the oxygen out of the water and it kills the fish. Now, I don't know if this is the case here. They may find that out, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because this is another one of those many, many reports of the fish and the animals dying. All right, so many of the articles that are coming up, they have to be translated, and I do that for you. I get the translated link and I put that up for you. But here's another one. You'll see about the dead fish, the large number of dead fish, and they have the pictures for you here. And I believe that this is dealing with the typhoon, because you can see here suspected red tide by the typhoon. Now, the Lord told us that the ocean would turn as blood, and in my book I give you a lot of information about where these red tides are that actually turn the water that looks like blood. So something to consider. And again, just another report of many, many reports in the last days how these fish are dying. Now here's another one. All right, here is another one. Now this one was on the 12th. I'm not sure if you could see it here, but it says fish kill could be significant this year after flooding. So this is another one of the reasons why fish would die off. There's a lot of reasons: intense heat, bacterial, whatever it is. The fact of the matter is we're getting these reports almost every other day, and sometimes every day. So as the flood waters started to reside, the Calgary fish, or the dead fish, were found along the Memorial Drive and in other communities along the rivers. Others were stranded in small gravel pits and swells granted surging waters. So in this case, the fish are carried alongside, and when the water resides, the fish die. Many reasons why this is happening to deaths. Now, as I mentioned about the heat waves, this was on the 13th of July. It says the heat wave causes fish death, or fish die off in John Day River. So again, officials say that more than 180 wild Chinook salmon died in the remote section of the Middle Fork in the John Day River. It says the Blue Mountain Eagle reports that the die-off is due to low water and sudden spike. There you go. Just like I've been reporting in many other of the reports, water temperatures. So there's another reason. Now again, translating, hundreds of fish die in a river. Now these have to do, I believe, with the, this is hard to read because it's small, but again, the picture is self-explanatory. You'll be able to see that with no problem. And again, I'm going to have all of these links at my site that you'd be able to go there and read the information for yourselves. Here we have the birds. Now the birds have had some problems, and you'll see the population has managed to successfully breed despite the severe weather conditions, which saw around 3,500 of the birds die. So there was a lot of killing there, and the birds are adjusting, but obviously it did have an effect. All right, so that was it as far as the birds, the fish, and the animals dying. But I'm sure that if you continue to watch my YouTube videos, or if you go over to my website, you're going to see the listings, continual listings of the events and the circumstances behind why the animals, the birds, and the fish are dying. Again, keep in mind, What you're seeing here is only one of the prophecies, one of many things that we were supposed to be watching for in the last days. Now, again, in closing, just keep in mind that we are in the midst of the birth pangs. So what you're seeing here in relation to in relation to the fish, the birds, and the animals, it's only going to get worse. As the temperatures increase, you're going to see more fish die. You're going to see a lot more problems concerning this prophecy. Now, here's the good news. The good news is eventually the Lord is going to come back. We know this because all the signs are coming to pass. And so you're going to be removed from the worst condition possible. And obviously we know that that will arise during the tribulation period. Now, as we see the fish and the birds and the animals dying, this is going to take away from your tables to eat many places around the world, and it's going to increase the cost of food. So as we see more of the fish dying and more of the birds, we saw not long ago in China, hundreds of thousands, believe it was of pigs dying off. And so this is going to do is prop up prices of meats and so forth, along with the diseases that are infecting the animals, the birds, and the fish as well. So look towards the heavens, because the Lord told us, He gave us this information for a very good reason. Number one is that when you saw it, you would know that it was His word coming to pass. And number two, when you saw it, you would know, man, look up, because the Lord is going to return. When you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. And we know that the Lord must have His hand on the doorknob, ready to turn it to bring us home. God bless everyone. This is Frank DiMora from the End Times Research Ministry.